Senator, so have you been clear with the White House about how much you're willing to spend on this human infrastructure bill?
We're just working. We're all still talking, working together.
Is the White House clear on what you want?
I think they're pretty much understanding where I am.
And so you don't care how much this bill is. You just need it explained to you.
Well, I do care about the bill. I care about the size of the bill. Sure, I do. Everybody cares.
3.5 is still too high for you.
That's pretty high.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has officially changed her tune on the budget reconciliation bill. You know, the very bill that she claims she desperately wanted to pass because she cares about the children. She wants to do something for the children. Well, it turns out the children don't matter all that much, because in a private caucus meeting, Pelosi said the party must make difficult choices because the dynamics have changed and Democrats have not yet agreed to a spending level on the budget reconciliation bill, and that's according to a source familiar with this meeting. Now, I want to give you a direct quote from Nancy Pelosi. This is what she said to the Democratic caucus during this meeting last night. I told all of you that we wouldn't go on to the bipartisan infrastructure bill until we had the reconciliation bill passed by the Senate. We were right on schedule to do all of that. No, you weren't. Until 10 days ago, a week ago, when I heard the news that this number had to come down. It all changed, so our approach had to change. So look, if you're tuning in on this particular story for the first time, quick context, quick backstory. You have Biden proposing a massive piece of legislation. It includes infrastructure, both physical infrastructure and what he referred to as human infrastructure. All of the provisions that we actually care about that would materially benefit people's lives, childcare, elder care, Medicare expansion, all of that stuff, right? Mandatory paid family leave, that's all included in this massive bill along with the physical infrastructure. Then they decided, well, why don't we divvy up this bill into two separate bills, one being the corporate handout bill, that's the bipartisan legislation, and the other being the budget reconciliation bill, which the Senate theoretically could pass with a simple majority in the Senate. Well, it all ended up being a trick, at least on behalf of the moderate, or I should just say conservative Democrats, who never really had any interest in passing it. So even today, we're still at this point where the only thing that we can really rely on is progressives staying true to what they promised by blocking the bipartisan corporate handout bill. Okay, that's what corporations want, that's what conservative Democrats want, that's what Republicans want. Progressives should block it. No reconciliation bill, no bipartisan bill. That was the deal, they should stick to that.
The plan originally was for this to pass through the Senate, for the Senate to do its job and bring the House legislation. And it's important to note that it's not progressives putting the House or Biden in this position. This is the progressives pushing Joe Biden's agenda. It was Joe Biden's initial preference to have the Senate pass these both and have them both voted on together in the House. That was the way this process was supposed to work. And progressives, I think, are rightfully concerned that if they step forward on this in the House, that the Senate is just going to make all of that work for nothing. And given the way the Senate's behaved, that's a very reasonable concern to have.
No, there's like, okay, Max, so you're more connected to Washington and the media, et cetera. So everybody understands that voting for it in the $3.5 trillion, I'm sorry, the $1 trillion version, the bipartisan infrastructure plan. Yeah. Voting for that in the House means that we're definitely not gonna get the $3.5 trillion one. Do the progressives understand that, you think, in Congress? There's no way Manchin and Sinema are gonna let it pass. It's all a giant, obvious ambush. Does everybody in Washington know that? Or are they still pretending, oh, the Senate's gonna do good work on it and eventually they'll pass it?
Oh no, progressives certainly know that. We saw just today, there was an op-ed with Ilhan Omar, Katie Porter, Congressman Jayapal, pointing out that this is not the agreement that progressives made, that their votes should not be taken for granted on this, that they were promised a certain way of doing this process and they will not have the rug pulled out from under them. And I think progressives have made a very strong line that the White House certainly takes seriously and has tried to reassure them on this, but it's for the best that someone is at least pushing to have real progressive things included in these bills.